Uh, okay. Interesting. Okay. This is totally fucked, dude. Pardon me. Oh, wait, am I actually live already? Because it's saying I'm not live. If I'm live, someone let me know in the chat here while I try to hammer this out because it's saying that an error has occurred on X Twitter and this is usually temporary. Wait a minute, then try again. I don't know what could be going on here. We did everything. We paid Elon his due. Oh my God, I'm live. Oh my God, they're telling me I'm live. This is 2 weeks in a row here. I'm being cucked by Elon. Well, anyway, I guess I'll do the intro and we can just go without Twitter again. Yeah, I know Aaron's Ghost. This is going to get good algo pickup. We're going to go viral with this one because John Wright. Is it John? Was the guy that said F it, do it live? Anyway, whatever. Moving on. Cabbies around the world, unks joining hands, celebrating the greatest day ever. We're really making MAGA reality. All of your favorite Dino tokens are pumping. The biggest scams to have ever existed. Oh wait, maybe I'm going to maybe not biggest scams, but XRP, Cardano, they're up big time as Trump promises to make a federal government strategic reserve of these assets. It's awesome, guys. And even more so, DeFi AI or AI-fi, as I'm going to start calling it now, is picking up, and it's fantastic, guys. We're really entering a new era. And I'd like to guide you through that new era with my friend Justin Bibas, who is joining me for today's show. So stick around, folks. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to find out what this means for you, how you can take advantage, and what opportunities are arising as a result of MAGA and AI-fi. All right, let's start the show. Let's play the video.
Got that CDX token, we the ones chosen. Every stake, every meal, while I stay golden. Codex Club, AI not focused, it's an anthem. CDX got them frozen.
Yo, what's up, Mr. Bibas?
Hello, Corval. Nice to be back again.
Hey, I got to apologize for the unprofessional behavior at the start of this show. It's just I'm at the end of my rope here. I've paid the bribe to X officials. I paid them the $2,000 or whatever they wanted to go live, and I still can't do it. And I'm at the end of my rope here, dude. What do I do?
You should consider, I think, now to unlock secret super premium, you need to just post about how awesome Elon Musk is and how great the Department of Government Efficiency is. And if you do it enough, President Elon may even interact with your post, sending it right into the stratosphere. So just make sure that most of our content is about how freaking epic chungus Elon Musk is.
Okay. Well, hey, I've got to make a request. In the meantime, Stephen, Mr. Vinyl, I don't know if you have access to this account, but could you let the people know that we're only on YouTube now? I don't know. Anyway, so be on the lookout. We're going to be seeing a lot of glazing of Mr. Musk on Twitter soon from the Codex account. We're going to really be shifting our priorities from, discussing our products and DeFi and AI-fi because we really need to tap this market, on X. So we're going to have to, talk about Doge. We're going to have to make some I am become meme style posts. We're going to have to stop making fun of them. So hope you guys don't mind that. Please support us in this endeavor. But while we're talking about the account, I wanted to bring something up here. This is my top thumbing on my list here. What is this, dude? We keep changing the name of the account. What is up with this, dude? We got identity crisis going on. Why does Beavis keep changing the X account's name?
I keep changing it, and then it doesn't look right in its shortened form. So I change it again, and then it still doesn't look right. And then every time I change it, Twitter makes me wait a week to change it again. So.
Dude, this is
we need to maybe crowdsource. Let's maybe crowdsource what our Twitter name should be.
Yeah. Let's just ask people, do you like this name? If you like it, let us know. If you don't like it, don't let us know. Just tell us if you like it.
I think maybe try.codex.org. That's my my vote for the display name.
Just the URL.
Because then we can let our hard work and effort speak for itself.
At this rate, I'm thinking just saying screw X altogether. We might just transition entirely to Reddit. We might become Redditors, the first fully Reddit optimized AI-fi company. What do you think about that?
I mean, I feel like it's needed. I feel like we make fun of Reddit a little bit, sure, But at the end of the day, aren't we all Redditors deep down? You know what I'm saying?
I don't really know what you mean by that.
Like we basically spend 20% of our working hours talking about Warhammer 40K, and then the other 20% talking about how Elon Musk is epic chungus. So I get a feeling that maybe we would fit right in on Reddit.com.
That's true. He is epic chungus. He is the real life Tony Stark. He is saving humanity. He is taking us to Mars. Now, Equestical, please elaborate. What do you mean YouTube is rugging you? Are you also not able to watch the stream on YouTube? If so, we have a serious problem.
Maybe our app is so good that all of these tech companies have conflicting interests and are trying to deplatform us.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an anti-codex conspiracy out there, and it's up to you patriots to stand up to it and break the algorithm for us. Now, you guys want to see a little demonstration of AI power here? I want to show you some examples of this. This is what we're building towards here. Look at that. Power.
Whoa. That's crazy how that happened.
Yeah, how that really happened. This is my favorite one, dude. Just it's a complete meltdown. Look, there's so many of these, dude. This is the future we're building towards.
Wow.
Oh my god, that is soundtrack to that.
I want to see the inflation one.
Oh yeah, where did that one? I think that was a custom one, dude. Let me grab that here. I think I have to download that one and stream it for you guys. Look, it's gonna be worth the wait. Okay, this is high quality content. You're only gonna find here on Codex Club, where we are discussing the most important things that happen in all of DeFi AI, and this is part of that. All right.
And Twitter's notifications feature is also down right now, which could explain why their service is degraded and we can't stream.
All right. Yeah. So this is the power of AI, and this is what we're going to be bringing to your finances here in the future.
We're going to inflate your finances. It's going to be freaking awesome, guys.
We are going to, you saw that Equestical. I hope you saw that. We're going to inflate your finances. But let's tap in a little bit here into narratives. Let's actually get into a little bit of business. I saw this dexu.ai. I've never seen this app before, but last week Daniele posted an example of from this site as I guess price performance to narrative. And at that point, AI was doing great. Now everything is down across the board. Wouldn't Codex dominate Cardano DeFi ecosystem? That is something we are seriously in discussions to do. We want to capture that $500 worth of daily revenue generated on the Cardano chain. I was looking for Codex Club instead of Codex Central. Hey, you're in both, bro. Okay, this is both Codex Central and Codex Club. We're actually, that's a good point. I think the channel is called Codex Central, not Codex. The show is called Codex Club, but it's on Codex Central. I know it's a little confusing, guys. Thanks for working with us. But yeah, looking at this, look at our narrative price performance right now. This is just a sign of this, how the markets are looking. Everything is down. They probably should add a section that's just like crypto reserve, because that seems to be the largest narrative right now. But how do you feel about this, Beavis? Is this making you feel scared?
What even is that? What am I looking at?
So you're looking at narratives price performance. So for each of these narratives, how are they performing price-wise? All of them are down. DeFi
Damn, that's
AI,
cool.
12%. Yeah.
What CEX is not down despite the largest
down
theft
3%
in human history.
It's down 3%, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty much looking like crypto's over, but let's go over to Cookie, the actually valuable one. Oh my God, I always get this wrong, dude.
Cookie.fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Cookie.fun. Oh yeah, here we go. Exciting waiting action.
Whoa, dang, their new site is so handsome.
It's so handsome, and it's perfectly set up so that I'm confused already, dude. KOL intelligence, upgrade plan. Okay, whatever. Moving on. We don't need to look at Cookie. Let's move on to our key segment here.
What's the big Tony without CDX? I'm breaking dichotomies.
We're going to be breaking some dichotomies today. First up, developments in DeFi AI or AI-Fi, whatever you're comfortable with. Top of the docket here, we have Grafane adding Robinhood crypto to your account in 3 steps, so you can trade with your agent. What do you think about this, Beavis? Is this exciting or what? You can only trade crypto, by the way. But
Yeah, I mean, I think it's somewhat interesting. I guess like they've integrated the Robinhood API. The main issue I have is like you can't trade with stocks using the Robinhood API in this way. Further to that, it's like you're giving business to like a TradFi company or a fintech company, like directly antithetical to your industry. And I can see why they did it, because there's not a lot of liquidity for most of the big assets on Solana. So you need to find like a third party provider. I just wonder why they wouldn't integrate like an Ethereum based exchange or integrate like a perpetuals exchange that might be able to more easily trade these tokens or give people exposure to these tokens. So I think it's cool, headline grabber. I think at the end of the day, though, I'm not sure how useful it is, and I wish they had integrated an in-industry provider. But otherwise, yeah, I would say like dope. Cool to look at.
A lot of interesting points here, I think. So that's a great point. They're trying to tap some of the liquidity. I think is probably the strongest argument you're making for why they would do this, because it is a little, I don't know, weird, because it's not really, you're not going to onboard people from Robinhood to DeFi using this method. You have to already be in DeFi, and then you're integrating Robinhood, right?
I'm not sure how much desire someone would have to go from Web3 to Web2, like up the ladder. And I'd be interested to see what kind of trading volume they're pushing through that service, because it is like an interesting experiment, and it's one that I'll keep an eye on and look at. And if they publish metrics, like maybe it is a really good idea. It just doesn't make like a ton of sense to me right now. But that's the whole point. We're in an experimental phase. Maybe this is the ticket to onboarding Robinhood users.
It could be. I'm not too confident about the onboarding part of it, but let's unpack another part here that was an interesting question here, because you pointed out you're not trading stocks.
Yeah.
I read an interesting tweet where someone was pointing out, why would I ever want to trade stocks on chain? What is the point of bringing stocks on chain? Because you're sacrificing a lot of the security that comes with, all the laws around trading stocks, right? It's a lot harder to get rugged, a lot harder to lose custody of your stocks if you're using a custodian like Robinhood or
I mean, I think that is the reason you would want to maybe move on chain is, Web3 is a non-custodial layer for Web2 infrastructure. And it's what BlackRock always talks about. Larry Fink, like, hey, all this shit is eventually going to get tokenized. And then you as a user, like, to give you a recent analog, people that were using Bybit with their ETH on a third-party custodian like Copper Labs, which is like allows you to expose yourself to these centralized exchanges without giving them custody of your assets. Athena's entire position was saved that way, and Copper's Clear Loop product was able to really like kill it. They demonstrated really strong PMF, and we can accomplish something very similar using an on-chain layer, wherein if Robinhood, if you're able to self-custody and see, hey, here are these tokenized assets that I am holding, I can see them, I know they're there, then you can theoretically protect yourself against a shortfall. And then beyond that, it's just way more liquid, way more seamless. I think the big benefit that centralized exchanges have is they can send billions of dollars across the world in seconds. And using crypto payment rails just empowers your business. But on the other side of that, it's also risky. You don't have the same policy engine that you would in a traditional Web2 custodian. So there are some pros and cons. I think overall, we'll see it when we get more stuff on chain. I think stocks are going to be one of the last things that we see on chain, traditional equities. More so, I think we'll see managed products for the next few years.
Makes perfect sense. You don't have those same you're less likely to see a bailout. You know what I'm saying? If you're on chain generally, but I mean, things are changing. Actually, we kind of
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just like a UX layer on top of Web 2. So it's like the same laws might apply. It's just in the Web 3 universe, regulations could potentially be different, and thus people can do more interesting things, onboard retail users more easily. A lot of teams, a lot of asset managers are looking into that, and really, it's like I doubt we see Robinhood, the stock, tokenized with significant liquidity on chain anytime soon. But what I think we will see is Robinhood, the stock, inside of a managed structured product that's being sold to retail users on chain as a stable coin or as a derivative or something like that. Just because that's much easier to do legally. You can create like a holding company and tokenize it and issue shares that way. And the world of having to be afraid of securities on chain is a little bit beyond us. Like, people are buying and selling securities on chain, in billions of dollars of size right now. It's more so like what makes sense and what's convenient and what's worth the hustle or the hassle or whatever.
Interesting. Right on. Okay. Now let's move on to the next development here in DeFi AI-Fi here. Hey, Anon, now on Solana. Quite bullish. Daniele is hustling. He's hard at work here. We've got this here. He brought his big, beautiful mug out. He said, developments of this week, recap of the week on Anon. I'm not going to play this whole thing here. But basically, he's saying we got Sol is live. The tool is functional on that chain.
Do you want to bring the video up?
Oh, I see what's happened here. Oh, this one. There we go.
And it will give you the timestamp that is right.
All right. Basically,
dude, look at all his synthesizers.
Yeah, dude, this is what we need, dude.
Daniele needs to drop a record, I think, is like what I'm looking for right now.
Oh, yeah. But this was the more exciting thing for me, the development for Hey Anon, is this plugin here where you can ask, it's going to have a little widget here, and you can ask it what each DeFi product you're touching is actually doing. How does it integrate? What's the point? Pretty hot stuff here. What do you think, Phoebus?
Yeah, I mean, it is quite cool, quite interesting. I think if you remember back in 2022, we shopped around the intercom style widget like that, and we're doing a lot of user testing. And I think, frankly, what we're seeing here looks a lot better than our 2022 version. I'd be interested again to see what kind of traction it gets. And we're in a very exploratory phase at the moment in the world of DeFi, and a lot of people are going to make shots on goal that might miss, and that's just the nature of business. So when I see like a product like that, I think, okay, kind of convenient to implement this functionality for the user right there. The user experience has been proven out with Intercom, which is the service provider that puts the little customer service button in the corner for companies. It's an injected web component, and it's really easy for people to add it. So you could potentially add Hey Anon to your app in just a couple lines of code. Really, what we got when we shopped this around to teams asking, hey, do you want to implement this, was not super interested. And there are a couple reasons there. Reason number one being, privacy concerns. It's a little bit clunky, and running someone else's code inside of your app is also potentially a security risk. And then furthermore, like if you're offering, swapping services, or you're offering like some third-party DeFi solution, is there a conflict of interest there potentially with the person you're integrating in? And the reason that I really like Hey Anon is because it's vertically integrated. So you have WAGMI, you have Hey Anon, and they build kind of similarly to we do, where it's like, let's prove it out natively and then move outward. So they mitigate a lot of the weaknesses that way. And really, I just want to see usage metrics. I think that's what everybody is looking for right now with these products. Are people using it? Are people reusing it? Is it a user experience that excites people and that's adding value? And I think like implementing it in WAGMI is the perfect way to go about it. I just know down market DeFi products like ours, like WAGMI, like anything that isn't Uniswap or Aave, generally have very low DAUs. So there's not going to be a lot of traffic necessarily to test it out or prove it out. I want Daniele to get Uniswap to add Hey Anon. I think that would be awesome. And that's something he potentially has the clout to do. Get a team with a ton of traffic to plug it in, and then show off those numbers. And generally, he's a market leader, so I think we just need to watch what he's up to pretty closely.
Definitely, Daniele's still the guy to keep your eye on here. It seems in this AI-fi space or DeFi, this is the difficulties. He's coined this funky phrase, but hey,
he has us in his chokehold, his DeFi chokehold. Although I feel like if you pronounce it DeFi, it's just fine. But it's like Codex. People say Code 3x or COD 3x or whatever. Once you learn how to say it, it's like, oh, that makes sense.
Pivot to a fishing company here soon, shortly.
Yeah.
3x to the number of cod you catch each week, every season.
Technology using the blockchain, every cod and NFT.
We're going to use blockchain technology, AI power to maximize your fishing returns. I like that. Now let's talk a little bit about what Codex has been up to this past week. Templates are coming to Codex is what I got here. Do you want to demo it, Beavis? You want me to pull up the app?
Is it functional at the moment in the app?
Well,
did you take a look?
I did take a look. I mean, I've got a video which is very compressed. Let's see what it looks like.
The world's most compressed video.
Yeah, we'll have to talk over it and kind of explain what's happening if you're ready for that. Let's try this. Yeah,
I think it's probably going to be. Oh gosh, how many was that?
It's 0 pixels per inch. So basically, what you're seeing here is goal templates, right? So this is kind of like, if you've been following our application, you know that we've implemented scheduling and goals for your agents. So you're kind of scheduling their behavior around times, goals. You give them the tools they need to accomplish it, making it a little bit more customizable. It makes the agents more effective because you're strictly detailing what they need to do and when, which increases their effectiveness and accuracy. But it's a little bit more work. But that's where templates come in. You find successful templates, you just pull them up. Am I right, Beavis?
Yeah. So basically, we're trying to create on our platform a creator economy, which would essentially mean like you as a technical person or a pseudo developer, obviously it's a no code platform, but you as someone who knows their way around AI will be able to create pre-formatted and prefabricated templates that have a series of goals that will execute with a high degree of reliability. And by doing that, you take away a lot of the work of someone that's potentially onboarding, and you can even charge them for it. So being able to sell your templates, sell your strategies, and one thing that we'll maybe be talking about on Twitter a little bit later today is turning Big Tony into a template. And letting users who have Tony tokens, for example, let Tony trade for them and let Tony set their schedule and let Tony handle all their inference. That may require a little bit more than templates. We'll probably be creating some custom plugins. But really, we want someone to be able to start trading with AI in seconds. And we're getting very close. I would say every other week, every sprint, we're about 10 to 20% closer to that really start trading like a pro in 30-second solution. So if you haven't used Codex and you're watching, go on try.codex.org, try.cod3x.org, and give it a shot. It's pretty fun, to be honest.
Yeah, really cool stuff. I have been comparing it a lot in my mind because I'm a gamer. My brain is game poisoned. It's almost like, when people make mods for a game, improve your gaming experience, whatever, creating that kind of economy for it. But this is like actually tangibly useful. So it's, I guess, more like downloading in programming, like libraries and packages to supplement your code's ability. but now you can pay for it, right? So if you have like a really good framework that you built, you know it works, you can sell it through the Codex economy, probably through some sort of token that is associated with that agent or framework. Tony being, like we said, the key. I'm a little distracted here. We've got a stranger in the studio. I didn't think he was going to make it. I don't know if I should throw him up here.
Whoa.
Hey, Charlie. We're talking about the creator economy we're going to be building here on Codex. How you doing today? Okay, tell me when you're ready. Tell me when you're ready. I thought he was ready. But yeah, hitting that turbo on the N64 JP crypto. That's right. We're going to be throwing up a lot more examples over the coming weeks, and we got some more news coming along the line, so keep your eyes on it. So if you are a prompt engineer, if you're a programmer, anything like that, be sure to try out Codex and see how you can make it work for you, because we got multiple avenues to make this thing a useful tool for you, right? You could be in there just straight designing plugins if you want, and tap into that ecosystem. Now, yeah, that was the best Charles speech ever, Mythage. Also, I wanted to point out, thank you, Mythage, for pausing your Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 playthrough to join us. That means a lot to me. Okay, excellent. Charles is ready. LOL. Hello, Charles. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Charles.
How's it going?
Charles, where are you?
I'm in the Toronto airport waiting for my bag, and the carousel isn't even moving. So thought I'd pop in.
A rough 30 minutes here.
Yeah. Charles,
this is the best time of the week.
Trump is waiting for, or Charles is waiting for his bag, just like all the rest of us. I called you Trump on accident just because you two are so similar.
Dude, what the hell? I will say it's so nice. I'm going to talk shit about America really briefly here. It's so nice coming into like a Canadian airport. Going into the US is like the most stressful. They're like, give us your shoes. What the hell are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. You come into Canada and you don't even need to talk to anyone. You just like click some buttons and then you just walk in. There's like no one here. Anyways.
Have you ever considered that's because no one wants to go to Canada?
Yeah.
Good. Stay out.
What's Canada's GDP right now? 1 sec.
$10 trillion.
I honestly think Codex could flip the GDP of Canada some point in the future. I don't know. Maybe it's
Charles' luggage got rugged. Your bag might come from the plane 10% smaller than when it gets in. Sorry, Charles. Now, you know what's interesting, Charles? You're talking about all the hassle of going through the airport. I've noticed in a lot of American airports, I've been flying more recently. A lot of them have been kind of, we're getting off topic here, but give you a peek behind the curtain here. I've been flying a lot more lately. A lot of the airports have kind of made the process a lot better. It's actually gotten a little bit more stressful for me because I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do when I go through TSA. Sometimes you take off your shoes. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you take off your belt. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you take the PC out the bag. Sometimes you don't.
And sometimes they're grumpy. Sometimes they're not. But what I've learned is it all depends on the type of machine. So if you can identify which Lidos machine it is, you'll know what to do. And I'll tell you, everybody like cries about like airports and whatever. But when I go to LAX, literally I'm like done with everything in 30 minutes at the most. And so everybody like is like, oh, you need to get there 2 hours early. I walk in, I get through security and like, I have now an hour and a half to kill. I like airports, honestly.
Yeah. Even leaving Denver, I was there 2.5 hours early and I couldn't have been slower. Like I didn't check in early. I like had to figure stuff out. I didn't know where I was going. And even then I had like an hour to kill. So yeah, I don't know. The 3-hour thing is a thing of the past, I think.
It definitely depends on how familiar you are with the airport, to be honest. Sometimes they get a little bit scary. When I was at LAX, dude, I was scared as hell when I was in LAX. There were people popping up out of the crowd being like, where's your boarding pass? Let me see your boarding pass. I'll tell you where to go. It's like, what the hell, dude? You look like a plainclothes officer or something. They had hounds patrolling the terminal, dude, sniffing bags.
Undercover TSA.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that TSA movie with the I forget what's his name? It's like a Netflix movie. I forgot what it was called, but it was really good.
Yeah, it seemed tense. Where the guy was like, the guy's going to come through. You're going to let him through with his bag. You're not going to check it, or I'm going to kill
Yeah.
your whole family.
Carry
on. That's it.
Carry on. Oh yeah. They had Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman's cool.
When first Codex community session, do we still agree that Belgian beers are still attracting Canadian and West Coast bros?
I think Belgian beers in America were like a 2010 meme. It was like, oh, I'm gonna drink Delirium Tremens, and I'm so cool. And then, or I'm gonna drink this Quad Bock, and then people realized that shitty lagers are the best beer in the world.
It has kind of the pendulum.
Shitty lagers are back on top, I think.
I think Budweiser, Michelob, and all those are recapturing market shares. People realize, what am I supposed to be drinking it because it tastes good? No, dude, I'm drinking to get fucked up, bro.
I mean, I think even like being able to drink a beer like a soda, there's something to be said for that. You know, it's like I think there is.
You can still drink a good lager like a soda.
Okay, I like nice lagers, but a shitty lager is like $1. You know,
That's true. That's true.
I'm gonna pay $10.
That's true. I bought some. I realized when I was in Denver, I bought a dozen eggs, and it was like $10 US. And then I went to a liquor store and I got a 6-pack, and it was like $6. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Goodness, got your priorities straight. That's for sure.
Any highlights from Denver you particularly enjoy?
Yeah, actually, Friday was a really, really good day. I met a couple good people. I was hanging out with Luna Man, freaking chiller. We hung out a lot. Love that guy. Hope you're watching. Had a great time with you, man. And then there was this like cheese and wine event put on by Frankencoin. I didn't know who they were.
Love that.
And then like Luna Man was like, "You got to come to this cheese and wine event." I was like, "All right." So it was all people who live in Switzerland. There was like 40 cheeses. It was the best event ever. It was relaxed.
Yeah.
It was like tons of cheeses. Everybody there was like a Swiss regulated VC. And they all spoke Spanish for some reason. They all lived in Switzerland.
That's awesome.
And then I met a couple people. I met this woman who works for she now works for the company that got they now own the Gitcoin passport thing. Anyway, she was a prior VC, worked for was a VC for like 10 years. Was like, dude, I know every VC ever, just like became friends, and now I have a really good VC contact. But the event was just like cheese and wine.
Those are the good ones.
It was great.
It was
great.
There's there's the ones that just try to impress, and then there's the ones that really impress.
Yeah.
The not so flashy ones. That sounds delightful.
First half of the week, it was like pissing contest events, and I was getting annoyed. But then second half of the week was really good, and obviously, I hung out with the Sophon guys quite a bit, and they're also really cool. So yeah, it was fun.
Right on. Now, I want to get a feel for what do you think the vibe was like in terms of just the conference as a whole? Because I've been seeing some people posting about how they thought that it was a downer, that they thought ETH is going to go to hell, that there was not a lot of optimism in the space. So I'm kind of curious as to what you feel like. Do you think that there was like a lot of confidence in the sector right now, or?
Yeah, I mean, okay. The first takeaway was that everyone is trying to build some AI solution. The whole conference was like overrun by like AI events, AI companies. Everyone, as soon as you said AI, everyone was like, "Oh, good." So AI was like a huge theme. I would say I realized I was reminded at how the internet is not a real place, because I would be on Twitter in the evening. Everyone is like doom posting. Everyone's like freaking out. This is before Trump announced that he's buying ADA. But everyone's like doom posting. And then you go to the conference, everyone's hyped. Everyone's like super happy to be there. The vibes are good. It's like Twitter is not a real place. I'll just stress that to people once again. So the vibes were really good. I mean, I don't really have a reference because it was my first conference. But I thought it was cool. It was, it wasn't like amazing. There was still a lot of just noise and just random like vaporware, people just shilling the dumbest thing ever. But overall, it was good, and everyone was in good spirits. So what you see on Twitter is not how people are typically
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Twitter is kind of a platform just for psyops. It's like everybody is on somebody else's payroll, and like everybody is trying to game the algorithm, and it's effectively just become a huge counter signal. And I mean, it's like almost a necessary evil for digital marketing. But I look forward to a world where we scale way beyond Twitter, way beyond crypto use cases, just as like a really solid SaaS product. And my favorite thing about conferences is there's always, with a really big booth, a scam that you've never heard of that's like $4, $5, $6 billion FDV, and is like insanely low float, and literally they're just showing the chart and people are walking in, and then they're just in real time onboarding exit liquidity, which that's like the weirdest, most interesting thing I see at every single conference, where it's just like a butcher shop right at the set.
Did you see the Enron documentary on HBO? It was like kind of older, but an interesting thing in it that I thought it kind of is reflective of the crypto industry in a lot of ways is like in the Enron buildings, you'd get in the elevator and they would have like an intercom on and it would tell you the current stock price for Enron. They were constantly talking about the stock price. It was the only thing they ever talked about at conferences, at when they made public appearances and everything. And similarly, it was to onboard exit liquidity, even if it was their own employees, which I thought was quite kind of interesting.
The freedoms to have a registered security.
Yeah.
You can just talk about price all the time.
But talking about Twitter as a market manipulation tool, I think we got to talk about the biggest news event that's happened in the last weekend is this one here. Let me see if I hit the right one this time. This one here. Nope. I got
Wow. No, dude, don't. You're
this one.
You're peeling back the curtain.
So obviously Donald J. Trump, he went on to truth.social, which is his version of X. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Sol, and ADA. I will make sure the U.S. is the great crypto capital of the world. We're making America great again. Obviously, BTC and ETH, as other valuable cryptocurrencies, will be at the heart of the reserve. He announced this on Sunday, and Eric Trump is loving this. He's saying, I love announcing a strategic reserve on Sunday when traditional markets are closed so the little guys can get in.
Wow.
Interestingly enough, there's a lot I think that can be said about this. One, I guess I'll give a little context for this. If you guys remember on Saturday, Friday, people were talking about a large whale, I think on Hyperliquid, taking like a 20 million, 20x long on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think we know who it was. I feel like the wallet is pretty much docked. This was Eric Trump, right? Eric Trump knows this announcement's coming, and he does an extremely stupid long right before, right? But I think the big thing that everyone is concerned about is what are these assets he's talking about? XRP, Sol, ADA, Cardano. Cardano, which generates $500 in fees a day.
So yeah. By the way, I'm just impressed that Eric Trump is using Hyperliquid. So good job, man. Yeah. I mean, the one that surprised me is XRP. Like ADA, for all there is to say about Charles Hoskinson, he talks to politicians a lot, apparently. I think they're a US based company. And he's like very much, I feel like most of his time is spent like lobbying to different governments. That one wasn't that surprising to me. It's just funny because it's a meme in crypto. Yeah. But XRP, I really don't understand. I mean, I guess it's it's boomer tech, it's boomer coin. It's very popular. It's obviously like top 10 crypto. So maybe not that surprising, but it's just a damn shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Sol isn't that surprising. ADA to me isn't that surprising.
So
Yeah.
real quick, before we dive a little bit more into, you made one point here that these are American-based companies. Now, there's this account, the Sonic Assist, and he's claiming that most, if not all, tokens issued are not U.S.-based. So he draws the point that Cardano is actually based out of Switzerland. XRP is based out of Estonia. Sol is based out of Switzerland. Most of these things are based out of Switzerland. So I'm just kind of curious what they mean by U.S.
Yeah,
based.
that's the token issuer, though. I mean, it's like every project or whatever you want to call it is going to have the entity that issues the token, which is generally a Swiss, BVI, Caymans, Dubai entity, whether for profit or not for profit. A lot of times not for profit, generally speaking. And then you're going to have the company that is actually doing the work, has the personnel, whatever. And the relationship between those two entities, the foundation and the labs, I mean, you know, Sonic does the same thing. Although they're, I think, mostly Dubai-based, both in terms of the foundation and otherwise. Maybe Cayman's foundation and Dubai for-profit DevCo. But that's incredibly common. I would say, like, it would be not trivially easy. But if they wanted to bring these massive foundation treasuries onshore, they could, although I don't know if there would be a lot of value to that. Because they are foundations. It's not like Switzerland is making a bunch of money off them, or Caymans or wherever. They're just in tax havens and operating, you know, with the intention to further the adoption of the token.
So what you're saying is that fundamentally this thesis that these are, as Trump said, American-based companies is still intact. These are still primarily American-based companies.
XRP, Sol, ADA, you know, generally American personnel. Generally operating stateside, and accruing a lot of the value from dumping the tokens stateside. So XRP, like serial token dumper in magnificent size, like that is, I think, net positive for the States. Obviously, like a lot of that value may be held in like Dubai or other tax havens. But I think if Trump is like, hey, if you want to be part of this strategic reserve, you need to come over to the U.S. and pay the piper. And then imagine if they need to kind of rehome several $1 billion, like multi-billion-dollar war chests in the U.S. Maybe the U.S. gets a nice tax chunk out of that. It's honestly, I would say, a good price to pay long-term for being part of a sovereign wealth fund, a U.S. sovereign wealth fund, which would only grow, and I imagine would only be a net buyer of assets, just because, like, when you're operating a fund of that size, like spending $1 billion on XRP, as ridiculous as it might sound to you or I, is like trivial. And you have to overpay if you're operating with that much size, because you need more tokens than the market can supply at any given point. It's an issue that the Saudi Arabia or the Dubai, rather, sovereign wealth funds, or UAE, whatever it is, they have a $1.5 trillion fund, and they need to buy, like, they're really bullish on AI, so they're buying NVIDIA at a massive premium. They're buying every AI company shares at a massive, massive premium, just because they're like, you know, it's just so big, you know, and their time horizons are so long. They don't give a shit if they need to pay even a 50% premium, as long as they think shit is going up and to the right.
So that's a great point, right? Is that these sovereign wealth funds, right? They can really not control, but they have a huge impact, big splash, right, in these markets if they're acquiring your asset. But Mythage says they don't say how much ADA or XRP will be in this reserve, which is a good point here. So let's talk a little bit more about the feasibility of this even happening, because this is an announcement. This is an executive order. This has to go through Congress if you didn't know.
Yeah.
And I think an interesting wrinkle, this is kind of the angle that I've been taking on this. I feel like there's two ways to look at this. There's to be very pessimistic. There's to be a little optimistic, right? Let's start with the pessimism first. The pessimism for why these specific assets, XRP, Sol, Cardano. Now, if you know, David Sachs is the crypto czar. We've talked about this been chosen from the All In podcast to be the crypto czar. Now, the thing is, he divested all of his assets supposedly before he stepped into politics, but he's still a holder of Bitwise and his fund. Interestingly enough, these are all the assets he holds. The only thing he doesn't hold that didn't make the list was Litecoin. A little fishy, maybe. I don't know. He's an old guy. Maybe he just likes these. Maybe his fund just feels comfortable buying these.
Yeah.
But the more optimistic way would be like, this is typical Trump negotiation where you say a bunch of dumb crap, like just way over over demand.
The foot in the door technique.
Yeah, like let me throw a bunch of trash in here, and then everyone is just going to be like, okay, we'll give you the reasonable stuff. So
yeah,
this guy's helpfully collated a bunch of examples here. Peter Schiff, notorious Bitcoin hater, crypto hater, even he's saying, I get the rationale for a Bitcoin reserve. I don't think he would have ever said that before.
I can't believe this guy.
Yeah.
Can you go back? He said, what did he say? He said, Bitcoin is digital gold, which is better than analog gold. Dude, oh my God. He has no spine.
Peter Schiff owns a bunch of Bitcoin and just like trolls people. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that would make the most sense to me.
We've even got Brian Armstrong saying just Bitcoin would probably be the best option. Simplest and clearest story is a successor to gold. So it's kind of generated some more, I guess, positive support for getting Bitcoin as in the Strategic National Reserve. With who is Trump negotiating this? Who wants to make, who's the other guy here? Does he want an agreement? Well, Mythage, this would be to Congress, right? Laying it out to the senators, to the congressmen. Why do we need a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Who's going to pay for this? Why should we pay for this? So if he asks to buy like a bunch of crap tokens and a couple of good ones, they'll be like, well, when you're negotiating, you're coming at it from a much stronger negotiating position because I have a lot more to give up. I'll be like, okay, I'll cut the XRP out.
I would say probably Bitcoin and ETH are the only two tokens with enough liquidity for a sovereign wealth fund, the size that the states would be bringing to the table.
It's interesting to think that ETH is the most, like ETH is even more liquid than Bitcoin.
And it's I guess my issue with Ethereum
is it goes down only.
It's
already retraced its jump from this announcement.
It's kind of a different story than Bitcoin to me because it's like a VC coin. It was a Peter Thiel incubated project, and to me it's like, and we've mentioned this before on various podcasts, but it's like the difference between Bitcoin and ETH is with Bitcoin, your exit liquidity for a really wide-ranging basket of many now millionaires, but millionaires who made a high conviction bet on Bitcoin. Whereas with ETH, you're generating exit liquidity for a lot of VCs.
It's like the government investing in fintech, in like a fintech company,
which is what you would do with a sovereign wealth fund. I just wonder, like, is it in America's best interest? And that could be an argument for Solana if they're going to really double, triple down. The issue with Solana is it's like, a retail pig butchering scam at a humongous scale, retrospectively. And obviously that's not the intention.
When did America's best interests become a question there, Beavis?
Oh yeah, I guess valid. I guess maybe in Trump's best interests. But I think if it's going to get past Congress, you need to be able to pitch like America wins if we do this. And I think really it's like, okay, if Bitcoin is the monetary side of crypto, then the tech side, the disruptive tech would be your Ethereum, your Solana, well-adopted smart contract platforms. Those are really the only two. I mean, we don't need to talk about XRP. We don't need to talk about Cardano. A lot of them are kind of skating in the wake of Bitcoin and Ethereum, respectively. But what I like about Solana is that the argument can truly be made that it's American, and that it can potentially further American interests. It's just they need to get their act together. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't like be somewhat responsible for disgracing political leaders around the world by facilitating insane, scam token launches, and also be like endorsed by the American people. So I can see the Bitcoin only argument. I would be fine with ETH. I love ETH. I just don't know if America has much to gain at this point unless they really go hard on it, and can really get Ethereum to commit to like a stateside focused roadmap, which I don't think is ever happening.
Interesting.
Am I wrong in thinking that he could push this through via like an executive order if he really wanted to?
He already did an executive order for the Sovereign Wealth Fund. I just think like you can't push through huge like budget stuff without Congress. Like, I don't think it'll be possible.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the kind of limit to what he's able to accomplish does come to the purse strings. The one thing Congress has thankfully done the minimal amount of effort to protect in terms of their powers and abilities is somewhat control the purse strings, even if they've seceded almost every other power they've got to the presidency. But I'm not going to go off here on a political rant here. I want to ask you guys one question here before we wrap this segment up. What is missing from the list? What else should have been on his demands for the reserve?
Well, I think
it up. All right, CDX baby.
You'll have noticed that Tony was included in one of Reserve Protocol's new indexes, the AI index, which is for AI projects on Base. So I would say with that as a precedent, I believe that the United States Sovereign Wealth Fund should consider shoving a few $1 billion into the Tony coin.
Yeah.
If I had to pick and choose, if I had to be really picky.
I think we can all agree on that, and I think everyone watching at home can also agree with that. I had a little bit of a different answer here. I was saying Polkadot's missing, dude. Why not grab some Polkadot too while we're at it? Some ICP maybe.
Let's just get all the vaporware.
All right.
Yeah.
Charles has to run. It's a shame because we're about to come up onto the best segment of the show here. My last piece of news here. Charles, I'll just announce this while you're here, then you can drop off, is Amaranth. Final topic of discussion here is Amaranth. Her OnlyFans is almost free, but that's not what is the big deal here, dude. If we go all the way down, we'll walk you through the news story as it unfolded. So she announced her OnlyFans is free right now. Then she said, "This is not a prank. Help. They pistol whipped me, but I got one. I'm bleeding a lot, but stable. Going to the hospital. I'm being robbed at gunpoint." Crazy, right? This was a home invasion. SWAT here. Now I'm safe. I believe I shot one of them. They wanted crypto is what they were yelling. They pulled me out of my bed. There was a home invasion. They ran up on Amaranth in her home, grabbed her out of the bed, put a gun to her head, put her phone in her hands and said, "Give me your crypto." And she tweeted a couple things. But let's hear from her own words. This is the video. I'm covered in blood, but only some of it is mine. Probably one of the most gangster things I've ever heard from an OnlyFans model. I'll update y'all later, but I'm safe now. She's not just an OnlyFans model, by the way. She does Twitch streaming. She's like a gamer girl.
Wow.
You can run now, Charles. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
Yeah. On that note, I'm leaving.
But yeah, crazy stuff here, right? They shot through her door. They kicked the door in. She's got the footage of them running up in her house. And I just thought this was a crazy story because we've heard a lot of crypto robberies in recent times, right? Usually like a founder or someone flexing their crypto wealth online. I mean, I don't know how much she's flexing it. I'm sure she is.
She flexed it and she has $20 million in Bitcoin.
Oh, holy cow. I didn't know that. That's a lot. 3 gunmen. But I just want to point out, not to, being robbed is scary. You should just give the people your money if they're robbing you. Your life is not replaceable. Money is. But at the same time, lots of fellas been getting robbed lately for their crypto. And the only one I know so far to stand on business and say not today and Dirty Harry these motherfuckers has been Amaranth. The OnlyFans model, the booby streamer.
Hey, dude.
Impressive, dude. I got to give her
Yeah.
props. Amaranth, glad you're safe. More power to you. You deserve that 20 million in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, it's like probably better self-custody. One, she had the tapes. Two, she was armed. And three, the results kind of prove the rest. So, I mean, it's like if you're going to self-custody a bunch of assets like that, you need to be serious about it. And I would say that, I have never been the biggest proponent of self-custody. I got into this industry in 2020. After the world of you need to download a Bitcoin client to actually hold on to this stuff. So I don't have necessarily the history to have been sold on it, and I really think that having a custodian and being able to create policies that lower the risks of this shit even being possible is frankly really important and necessary for the growth of the industry. So, shout out Amaranth, and I think like that should maybe serve as a lesson for the broader industry, being that like being your own bank is cool, but it's very, very serious. And just be very thoughtful about what you share online. Or if you're really smart, just stay poor. Just never have that much money.
That's a good
That's
point.
my advice.
That's a really interesting point. I worked at a bank briefly, and you would be surprised how little money they actually keep on hand. And so it kind of shifts like your risk profile when you think about it, right? A bank, which is FDIC insured, they've got additional levels of insurance on top of that. They've got all these security measures. It's like real life 2FA, where you need like literally 2 different keys, 2 different people, 2 different codes, sometimes 3 different codes to access the vault. Very extremely secure, right?
Panic switches. They got
panic
weapons.
switches. What is it? The ink packs. They've got a bunch of different ways to protect the funds. And even they will only carry 40 to 60 grand in cash at a time on the high end. So it is like kind of insanity to think that you are carrying $20 million on a piece of paper in a bank vault. So keep this stuff in mind, especially when it comes to flexing your wealth online. I don't have to worry about anything because I'm poor. So, they'll get $5 grand out of me, I guess, maybe.
I mean, holding a bunch of liquid assets just doesn't make a lot of sense, generally speaking. And I think that a lot of people see Bitcoin as money. So it's like, oh, I'm just going to have this big pile of money. But they don't really think critically about it. And that's like a big issue. And it's always been a big issue, whether it be because of SIM swapping, whether it be because of, rubber hose attacks, what have you. You just freaking need to be careful and have a risk management strategy. And the risk management strategy, frankly, can't be, I have a gun and I might get lucky. Obviously, that's just one part of a multifaceted strategy. And I think a much bigger part is just don't have access to your funds on your person, period. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Your home, unless you have built the home to be like a high security fortress, I don't think your fence is really going to stop a motivated attacker.
How many more years until we have Codex powered agents manning turrets for your home?
Yeah, the agentic turret tech is something that's in the research phase right now. And essentially, if you have Codex Premium, you'll be able to deploy several turret agents that will protect your holdings for you. And then we're collaborating with Figure AI to create jujitsu robots that will turbo annihilate anybody that gets too close to your funds.
That would be honestly kind of awesome if we had like robots that just come up. They're immune to gunfire. You're trying to shoot. How horrifying! You're shooting this robot. You can't stop it and just puts you in a freaking.
Dude, imagine like an iRobot thing sprinting at like 15 miles an hour toward you. That would be scary, dude.
Just tackles you to the ground, completely shatters your sternum. Like
Codex drones coming soon, partnering with Anduril. just expect, we're gonna make sure you're doing all right.
That's right. Awesome. Well, that's our show, folks. We're gonna wrap this up now. I think we have one or two more things we want to just announce real quick. I'll just tease them here at the end of the show. So our So Fun events upcoming. More details soon, today, this week on our X. So be sure to follow that. Even if they're not letting us stream there, we'll still be announcing on there. And we're possibly going to launch another show on Thursday. Let me know what you think about that. Would you watch another show? It won't be Club Codex theme. It'll be a little bit different. So let me know more about the scheduling. If you got time on your schedule for Thursday. It'll be tied to the So Fun event. So lots of big things incoming. So keep your eyes on Club Codex. We're continuing to iterate on the product, and we really appreciate you all showing up to support us and being involved in AI-Fi. Anything you want to say, Beavis, before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be talking a little bit about Big Tony V2 later. We're kind of rewriting Tony's guts, re-engineering them using Codex Create v0.5. Should be super awesome. Expect 0.6 later this week or early next week. We're shipping. And overall, yeah, thanks a lot for being here. And, look forward to Codex being the world's greatest AI-powered application.
Right on. Thanks so much, everybody. And if you enjoyed the show, please leave a like and a comment on the YouTube and tell your friends. All right. We'll catch you next time, next week, next Monday, same time. Adios.
Got that CDX token. We the